They flew through the intersection. There was no mistaking her. It was Lee. Her blonde hair whipped behind her as she clung to the back of a motorcycle, laughing, carefree. My stomach knotted. Why was my wife riding with another man at 3 o'clock in the afternoon? Without hesitation, I turned the wheel and followed. They disappeared down a wooded trail just outside town. I pulled over on the gravel shoulder and stepped out, heart racing, leaves crunching under my shoes as I moved in on foot. Sunlight poured gold through the trees. Bugs droned softly, a light breeze brushing my skin. The farther I went, the clearer the sounds became. Moaning giggles, the undeniable rhythm of two bodies. And then I saw them. They were on a blanket. Lee was straddling him, bare-chested, completely lost in the moment, her head tossed back in pleasure. She looked alive in a way I hadn't seen in months. The man beneath her was Bill Avery, one of her co-workers at the school. I recognized him instantly. He was younger than her, the gym teacher. I stood rooted, watching with grim clarity. It felt cinematic, sunlight cutting soft rays over their tangled bodies. The kind of scene you'd never expect to witness unless life wanted to break you. I pulled out my phone and snapped a few photos. Part of me needed proof. Part of me needed control. "Hey Lee," I called evenly. "Who's your new friend?" They didn't hear me at first, too absorbed. I shouted again, louder. That's when Bill groaned, raw, animalistic, then silence. There was scrambling, gasping, frantic hands grabbing clothes. Bill sat up, dazed, eyes wide. Lee clutched the blanket to her chest, shaking. "You've got a family, don't you, Bill?" I asked coldly, lifting my phone. "Couple kids if I'm not mistaken. Don't worry. Your wife will get these photos as soon as I'm back in my car." He stuttered, muttering about blackmail, but I ignored him. My eyes shifted to Lee, still frozen, speechless. "You're smart enough to know what this means," I said. I turned and walked away. Later, back home, she arrived looking like a ghost, hair disheveled, face pale, movements stiff. She showered, then slipped into yoga pants and a fitted tee. Probably her attempt to look tempting. "You're wasting your time," I said, my voice cold. "This marriage is over." "It was just a fling," she whispered, shaking. "It didn't mean anything. It meant the end of us. You can't divorce me over one mistake. Please, Todd, don't do this." Scoff. "A mistake. That was deliberate. He wasn't special. You don't even think about him now. Don't lie to me." "I'm all yours," she insisted. I laughed bitterly. "I saw you, Lee. You loved every second. And we both know you'll go back." Her face dropped, fear creeping in. She stepped closer, eyes soft, lips parting seductively. "Come upstairs, baby. Let me prove how much I love you." Rage boiled in me. "Really? You think I'm that stupid?" I stepped back. "I'm leaving and I'm not coming back." Her face hardened, fury replacing fear. "You're making this bigger than it is. I've been faithful most of our marriage. You're gone 2 weeks a month. Do you know how many offers I've turned down? He was the only one I said yes to. Unbelievable." I looked at her, drained. "Goodbye," I said. "Wait to hear from my lawyer." I drove 2 towns over and stopped at a small bungalow. A woman with chestnut hair stood outside, holding her daughter's hand. She smiled gently and walked toward me. "I thought you were still away," she said softly. "Did something happen?" I kissed her deeply. The pain melted in her arms. For the first time in a long time I felt peace. She held me close, whispering, "Welcome home, Stephen. Your family missed you." Somewhere else, another man's world was caving in. Mike had just lived the worst day of his life. The envelope in his hand felt heavier than anything he'd ever carried. He dreaded walking into the apartment, dreaded telling Michelle, his wife of 3 years. They had built a life together, worked hard, sacrificed. As he drove, his phone rang. "Hey honey, you okay? You sound off," Michelle asked softly. "I'm fine. Rough day. I'll explain later," he said. "Okay. Just so you know, my parents are joining us for dinner," she added. Vol nights. He forced a neutral tone. Got it. Love you. Love you too. When Mike stepped inside, Michelle and her parents were waiting, all seated in the living room. Michelle's smile brightened the room, and his heart cracked at what he had to say. Hey, sweetheart, she began, voice trembling with joy. I know today's been tough, but I have amazing news. She squeezed her mother's hand and took a breath. For 10 months we've been trying for a baby. I was starting to lose hope. But today Mom came with me to a specialist and... She beamed. I'm already pregnant. The words hit Mike like a freight train. He stood stunned as tears rolled down his cheeks. Michelle stepped forward, assuming he was emotional with joy. Arms outstretched, she whispered. Come here, baby. Don't touch me. The room froze. What's wrong? Michelle's voice cracked. I thought this was what we wanted. Mike's voice trembled with fury. What I wanted was a family with a woman I loved. That's all I wanted. But we're not having a baby. You are. He dropped the envelope on the table. This came from the specialist I saw today, the one I went to figure out what was wrong. Michelle stared at it. I'm infertile, Mike said, voice hollow. I can't have kids. The room spun in disbelief. Michelle's mouth opened, but no sound came. Her mother gasped. Her father's face hardened with understanding. The silence was crushing. And then Mike turned and walked out. Everything they had built shattered in an instant.